possibly look like to hold space, to keep it safe, to keep it clean? Can we try to explain that to them?
Sure. So the first thing about having a safe space is when you're setting things up, what I've seen is when you're starting, the facilitator like says, okay, we got certain ground rules. This is okay. This is not okay. This is okay. That's not okay. In different traditions I've seen, in some traditions, you're like in your own corner, you're working with the plants yourself, your eyes closed, you're not interacting with anyone. But in other very beautiful traditions, the participants are interacting with each other. They're talking to each other, holding hands, doing all kinds of stuff. And so having certain guidelines to follow and sort of setting like what's okay and what's not okay, that immediately, I've seen it, it just allows people to feel safe. And the safer someone feels when they do this work, the deeper I see them go. It's just a natural thing. It's kind of almost like it's not even an intellectual thing. It's sort of like a nervous system thing. It's like when the nervous system of the body feels like it's safe, it's okay to be vulnerable, it's okay to share the deepest, darkest secrets, that's when they come up.
Beautiful. Right. So guidelines are really important. And then what else about this holding space is really critical? Is it something like they always say, when I'm working with parents and something as simple as, a parent saying to me, my kid is such a picky eater. And then I really start talking to that parent and I find out that they're like the pickiest eater on this planet. Then we start working on how they can model, right? How they can model the behavior that they're looking for. So is there a way that facilitators can be good role models?
The thing I've seen with really good facilitators is number one, they never make anyone wrong. Number two, as you said before, there's no need to fix anybody. It's like really the facilitator that I see that are really good, they see people as already healed. They see people's greater ability. They see people's wholeness, and they kind of hold that image of them. And it kind of reminds me, I remember a long, long time ago, I saw a video from China of like some monks that came into this woman's room who had a tumor. All they did was just sit there and chant for 15 minutes. And literally, while he's sitting there chanting, the tumor shrinks and goes away. And they asked the monk, like, how did you do that? And what the monk said was, I just saw the person as being the perfect, healthy being that they are, that their essence is. And by holding that in their consciousness and the person being open to connecting to that, it created health and well-being.
Well, Sam, can I just close out that metaphor for any parents listening? So if you have a picky eating child, or picky eater child, what Sam was just saying is if you can look at that child at the dinner table and you can hold that child in that space and say like, wow, this is the most adventurous, wonderful, that this child just knows how to choose the things that are, going to resonate. And I so appreciate it. It's almost like a little bit of positive psychology. I'm trying to figure out how to explain it.
It is, but the key thing that most people get caught up on is without expectation. Because if you're doing it and then you expect the child to then all of a sudden turn not into a picky eater, forget it, never going to happen. But if you do it and you just hold it in your heart and it doesn't matter to you what the child does or doesn't do, then the child is much more likely to attune to that frequency. But when we have expectations, when we have attachments, in some ways it actually repels the very thing we're trying to see in front of us.
So I'm trying to get a mantra out of this because I think it's so juicy. I want to make sure it's right, spot on. And that is that.
See perfection without expectation.
Perfect. Yep. Okay. I love it. And seeing people already whole without expectation. So now that you've set a framework for